Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News and Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Godwin Sunday. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. And now to the news in details. The federal government has assured members of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) that the backlog of their newly approved 77,000 naira monthly allowance will be paid despite months of delay. The government also dismissed report of any disciplinary action against a corps member, Uchi Ugomaye, who criticized President Bola Tinubu on social media recently. Minister of Youth Development Ayodele Olawande reaffirmed the government's commitment to fulfilling its promise to corps members. Several eminent Nigerian former governors and past public office holders expressed fears over the falling standard of democracy in Nigeria, arguing that it left much to be desired. They voiced their fears at the colloquium held at Abuja to mark the 60th birthday celebration of former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, which was chaired by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Also in attendance were former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyaoku, former Vice President of Nigeria Atiku Abubakar, amongst others. Meanwhile, Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, has dismissed the assertion by former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi that democracy has collapsed in Nigeria, describing it as hyperbolic and lacking logical foundation. Onanuga, in a statement on X, criticized Obi's comment during a colloquium to mark the 60th birthday of former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and ex-governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha. He argued that democracy in Nigeria has remained resilient over the years and has continued to strengthen since 1999. The federal government is set to upgrade and modernize livestock facilities across Nigeria. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Meha, disclosed this during a one-day inspection tour in Benue State. The visit admits to boost agricultural growth and enhance livestock production. Felicity Ndere reports.
As part of efforts to improve the livestock sector, the minister visited projects in Boko and Gwe East. These include the Swine and Crop Improvement Project and the Livestock Investigation and Breeding Center. The tour focused on assessing facilities, enhancing functionality, and boosting food security. Meha stressed the need for collaboration with the Benue Bureau of Livestock Development. He emphasized the need for research and technology for fast-growing, high-yield livestock, saying the initiative aligns with the government's plan for economic growth and self-sufficiency while directing the clearance of 500 hectares within 2 weeks for pasture, which will help revive the 2,400-hectare livestock breeding center in Rav, Gwe East.
And then what is the business model, best business model to run them? Whether they belong to state, whether they are PPP, or whether they belong to federal government, it doesn't matter. We want to see what is happening, assess the potentials, look at the capacity, and then see how we can go forward. And this is the way to go. There are enough opportunities for us in this country. We have no reason to import meat. We have no reason to import dairy products into this country. And what is happening here today is an icebreaker.
Director General Benue Bureau of Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Diseases Control, Dr. Aundaka Asambi, described the visit as a game changer. He says it marks a step towards transforming livestock production as well as improving animal breeds and boosting the economy.
We are ready to set aside the rhetorics and take pragmatic steps towards reviving the livestock industry in Benue and then bringing respite to our people who have over the time been sent to IDP camps. These are part of the steps that we hope to bring peace to the people of Benue.
The team also visited Makudi North Bank International Cattle Market to assess hygiene and business operations. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has raised the alarm over fake report of pipeline explosions in the state, urging security agencies to investigate and take actions against those spreading false information. In a statement issued by his Chief Press Secretary, Nelson Chukwudi, Fubara dismissed viral videos of alleged attacks on oil and gas facilities as fake and malicious, warning against attempts to incite chaos. He stressed his commitment to maintaining peace in the state. It is a significant day for several communities in Imo State as Governor Hope Uzodinma officially presented the staff of office to their newly elected traditional rulers. The ceremony held at the Sam Mbakwe Esco Chambers, Government House, Owerri, the state capital. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, reports.
It was a moment of pride and responsibility at Sam Mbakwe Esco Chambers as Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma reaffirmed his administration's commitment to preserving tradition and fostering grassroots development. While congratulating the royal fathers, Governor Uzodinma acknowledged the trust their people have placed in them. He described their ascension as a call to service, urging them to lead with integrity, wisdom, and a deep sense of responsibility.
The ruler has a responsibility to serve the people, to look after the people, to treat the people in a manner that will give God satisfaction. That you are a traditional ruler does not make those you are ruling slaves.
The governor also emphasized the crucial role of traditional rulers in governance, security, and cultural preservation. He reassured them of his administration's full support in strengthening the traditional institution and ensuring peace and progress in their communities.
You are part of government. You are our ambassadors at the community level. So raise vigilante. Work with the youth population in your community. Defend the community.
In their response, the newly installed monarchs expressed gratitude to the governor for entrusting them with this responsibility. They pledged to serve their people with fairness, uphold peace, and contribute to the overall development of Imo State.
We are so impressed with the tremendous job you are doing. On behalf of my colleagues this evening, that we do our best to ensure that peace and tranquility returns to our various communities in Imo State.
With the staff of office now in their hands, these new traditional rulers are officially recognized and empowered to lead, preserving the customs and traditions of their people while working in harmony with the government. From Government House, Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The sole administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, has announced the resignation of the head of service, Dr. George Nwaeka, describing the development as sad. The administrator appreciated the immense contribution of Nwaeke in the short period he served the administration and wished him well in his future endeavors. Ibas said in the interim, Dr. Iyengi Brown, Permanent Secretary Welfare Office of the Head of Service, has been appointed in acting capacity until the emergence of a new Head of Service. The Minister of Defense, Mahmoud Badaru, has inaugurated the first phase training for 800 Special Forces personnel tasked with conducting high-impact operations with precision, speed, and efficiency. Badaru, while inaugurating the Special Operations Forces for the Armed Forces of Nigeria at Camp Kabala in Jaji Military Cantonment, Kaduna State, says they would be engaged in rapid response mission. He also says that the initiative was part of the new strategies to address the lingering security issues in the country. 12 inmates have escaped in a jailbreak in the early hours of Monday in Kogi State. Kogi State government confirmed this in a statement issued by Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Femi Fanwo. He commended the swift response of security agencies to the jailbreak at the Federal Correctional Center in Koton Cafe, where 12 inmates escaped. Fanwo described the incident as unfortunate and assured citizens that his government is taking decisive steps to prevent a reoccurrence. 3 of the inmates who escaped during a jailbreak at Koton Cafe Correctional Center in Kogi State have been rearrested. The Acting Controller General Nigerian Correctional Service, Sly Nwakuchi, disclosed this during a press briefing at Koton Cafe Correctional Center. He regretted that one of the officers of the Correctional Service was killed by the escaped prison inmates. Nwakuche vowed that the remaining escapee will be apprehended and prosecuted. He called on the general public to provide security agencies with all the needed information that will lead to the arrest of all the prison inmates who escaped from custody. The leader of Center for Democracy and Development, Ibrahim Yakubu, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Zamfara State for a minimum period of 6 months, alleging that the Zamfara State Governor, Dawuda Lawal, is involved in anti-democratic actions against members of the State Assembly. The center condemned the governor's alleged undemocratic actions at a press briefing in Abuja. The Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation has called for a peace resolution to the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, while raising concern about the legality of the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu. They stated this while briefing journalists in Abuja. Our political correspondent, Edikan Michael, has the report.
The group expressed support for mediation efforts to resolve the crisis, emphasizing the need for dialogue between Governor Similai Fubara, the FCT minister, and the House of Assembly. The group also raised concerns about the suspension of elected officials, calling for adherence to the Nigerian Constitution in any declaration of emergency.
According to the 1999 Constitution, a state of emergency can be declared under the following conditions: if Nigeria is at war, if the country faces an imminent threat of invasion or involvement in war, if there is a breakdown of public order and safety in any part of the country, if there is a clear and present danger of such breakdown, if a disaster or natural calamity has occurred or is imminent, if any situation arises that poses a significant threat to Nigeria's existence, if a state governor requests a state of emergency or fail to act within the responsible time, allowing the president to make such decision.
The forum also criticized political misadvising from some officials and the failure of the National Assembly to intervene, but stressed that a state of emergency could be misused for political manipulation with potentially detrimental consequences for democracy.
The power to declare a state of emergency in any part of Nigeria or even across the entire country must be exercised in accordance with the provision of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and must not be exercised in a flagrant violation of the same Constitution.
The group, like other concerned Nigerians, called on President Tinubu to monitor the actions of political appointees, ensuring they align with his administration's goals, particularly in the lead-up to the 2027 re-election, while reaffirming their commitments to defending Nigeria's constitutional democracy and supporting the Southern Nigeria presidency until 2031. Edika Michael for Global TV News.
The Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Dr. Dele Alake, has declared that there will be no hiding place for illegal miners in the country, as efforts to strengthen operations for the mining marshals and ensure nationwide coverage are in the offing. Addressing a press conference to mark the one-year anniversary of the coup, the minister emphasized that the establishment of mining marshals last year has significantly disrupted unauthorized mining activities and restored investors' confidence in the sector. Ozana Okorafo has the details.
The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, explained that activation of the core is to enforce provisions of the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act has struck fear into illegal operators, largely curbing their operations and serving as a deterrent. Assessing the impact of the mining marshals over the past 1 year, the minister stated that 2,220 core at inception, which has now been scaled up to 2,670 operatives, have raised awareness of the enforcement capacity of the federal government to combat illegal mining, establishing considerable deterrence among illegal miners, and contributed to substantial increase in revenue generated from the sector.
Specifically, on March 21st last year, the solid minerals sector witnessed the implementation of a critical element of a 7-point agenda for domestic consolidation and international competitiveness, and that's the activation of the mining marshals. The core of 2,220 officers that formed the pioneer mining marshals have increased over time by 450. They are now 2,670 as of today.
While the Marshals' operations have been somewhat hampered by logistical constraints, Alake reassured that with the increased budgetary allocation for the ministry in the 2025 fiscal year, such limitations will be addressed.
Corporate collaborators encourage deeper excavation and scale up this illegality and criminality. So the above definition of the enemy necessitated a training schedule that empowered the mining marshals with the strategic and tactical skills to combat and overwhelm its targets.
It will be recalled that the Federal Executive Council, FEC, recently approved 2.5 billion naira for the deployment of satellite technology to enhance the security architecture of the mining sector, which will consequently aid the operations of the mining marshals. Hosanna Okorafor reporting for Global Television.
When midday news returns, Akwa Ibom offers free tickets for Super Eagles vs Zimbabwe match. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
The federal government has announced plans to partner with Brazilian livestock company JBJ Brazil to establish 100,000 hectare cattle ranch in Niger State, designed to house 100,000 bulls and boost livestock production in Nigeria. The Minister of Livestock Development, Malam Idi Mokhtar, revealed this during a visit to Governor Umaru Bago in Mina. Mokhtar says that the ranch, part of a $2.5 billion livestock investment agreement with JBJ Brazil, was strategically planned to leverage Niger State's vast resources, including its abundance of water and favorable climate. Still on business, the Nigerian currency ended the first trading section of the week on a positive note amid increasing appetite for the heaven currency in the global currency market. The naira settled at 1,531.2 naira against the dollar, which stood at $1 in Nigerian official foreign exchange markets. appreciating by 0.37% from Friday's close of 1,537 to the dollar. However, market action showed that Naira volatility has been relatively higher amid elevated uncertainty in the Nigerian economy. The United Kingdom's Finance Minister, Rachel Reeves, has announced plans to reduce civil service running costs by 15% over the next 4 years, a move expected to save €2.2 billion annually. The initiative aims to streamline administrative and bureaucratic actions that expanded during the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking on the proposed reforms, Reeves emphasized the government's commitment to redirecting resources towards priority areas such as capital spending and the National Health Service. On the foreign scene, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron will hold another meeting on the coalition of willing. On Thursday, in the aftermath of the Saudi Arabia talks with the European leaders, along with their allies, aim to provide possible solutions to ensure potential ceasefire agreements can be maintained and give Ukraine confidence about its future security. In a statement shared, a Downing Street spokesperson said Starmer was continually updating the White House on meetings with his allies following conversations on military planning. Kyiv says up to 30 Russian troops were killed in an airstrike on an element of military infrastructure in Russia's Kursk region. As a result of the strike, it was completely destroyed, the Ukraine General Staff says in a statement, adding that the strike degrades the enemy ability to conduct operations against Ukraine's defense forces in Sumy and Kursk region. Ukraine launched an incursion into Kursk region in August last year, but over the recent weeks, its forces have been withdrawing under pressure from the Russians. Russia and United States officials launched talks in Saudi Arabia capital Riyadh on a 30-day partial ceasefire in Ukraine. A discussion in Riyadh come hours after a round of negotiation between Ukrainian and the U.S. delegation. On the agenda is a halt in long-range attacks against energy facilities in and civilian infrastructure in both countries, as well as pause on assault in the Black Sea. Meanwhile, the fighting continues with both Ukraine and Russia accusing each other of launching overnight drone attacks. Israel's relentless bombardment of Gaza continues with at least 61 Palestinians killed in attacks across the Strip over the 24 hours reporting period. The renewed assault comes hours after Israeli forces bombed the Nasser hospital in Gaza, killing at least 2 people, including Hamas leader Ismail Bohom. Gaza's health ministry says at least 50,000 Palestinians are confirmed dead and 113,000 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza. Gaza's government media office updated its death toll to more than 61,000, saying thousands of Palestinians missing under the rubble are presumed dead. At least 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the Hamas-led October 7, 2023 attack, and more than 200 taken captive. In sports, the Akwa Ibom State government has announced free tickets for the Super Eagles 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Zimbabwe at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. In a statement, the State Commissioner for Sport, Paul Bassi, said Governor Umo Eno had purchased all 30,000 tickets to mobilize support for the national team. Bassi says in line with his determination and promise to mobilize support for the victory of the Super Eagles of Nigeria against the Warriors of Zimbabwe, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umo Eno has purchased 30,000 tickets for football fans and supporters ahead of the 2026 World Cup qualifier matches scheduled for Tuesday, March 25, 2025 at Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. Australia will build a 63,000-seat stadium and a plush indoor swimming venue for the 2032 Olympic Games in Brisbane, officials announced after shelving on-shore earlier plans. Queensland Premier David Chris Safuli detailed a great deal of Olympic upgrades that includes a brand new Brisbane Stadium in the heart of the city and an aquatic centre that could host 25,000 fans. The Queensland's capital was awarded the 2032 Summer Olympics and Paralympics in July 2021, running the Games to Australia for a third time after Melbourne 1956 and Sydney 2000. That's it on Global TV Midday News. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. I am Godwin Sunday. Thank you for watching.